So,
My question
Abi, thank you. Yeah.
is gonna put myself out there in front of my peers. Most of my assignments that I've turned in so far haven't been as personal as I want them to be.
Okay, a couple of things. I know your question.
I want to be able to finish this class with a strong. It's imperative that I finish this class with a grade that is acceptable.
May I?
I've redone three assignments so far.
Can I?
And I just want to know if there's a chance.
Yes. Hello. Isaiah, right? Can I tell you a few things? Because you should know those things before I give you my response. I was shipped to India at the age of 11 with no parents. I stayed there for about 2 years with nobody, no money, nothing. Then I came to the US on an F1 visa, student visa. I was a kid, I was 13. I delivered newspaper, Sacramento Bee in Davis. Then I worked for Castilian, it was a dormitory for UC Davis students. And then I delivered yellow pages in like Safeway, carts across Davis. Then I became a janitor. Then I became a maid. Then I worked at a Shell gas station at Del Paso Heights. It was known to be a home for prostitutes and drugs and gangs and all those things for a few years. From there, I graduated to Church's Fried Chicken on Howe Avenue in Sacramento. I dropped out of school, hated school, still do. I stole some things, got caught, got locked up. And then my parents came here in 1985 thinking that I have like 50 doctorate degrees under my belt, only to realize that I haven't even graduated from high school. And then I washed cars for 20 years. And we still have the car wash, so I go there once every other weekend, sometimes once every weekend to kind of help out. And then I was lucky enough to run into some decent people. They inspired me to go back to school, and I did, get some degrees, and I did. And I share that with you because I think if you're able to process your experiences well, they force you into being very honest about certain things about life. And sometimes it's not the best policy for the classroom for students, especially young students who have high expectations, or they're under some ridiculous illusions about themselves and their life and this and that. But I'm referring to anyone who falls in that category. You know, When I had kids, what my mom used to tell me, she would call me and say, Amir, stop building and stop working construction every single day. You have young kids, take care of them. I wouldn't understand what she was talking about because I was so engaged in just cinder blocks and mortar and rebars and concrete. It took me some time to understand what she was talking about. So, writing is really, really, really tough. Writing is about thinking. Is about you being in life, life pushing you around for a while, and whenever you're pushed in ways you don't like, you have emotions you won't like. And then you have those emotions come out expressing themselves in ways that you'll eventually be regretful. It's like you have a fight with your girlfriend, you come to class, and you flip me off and you go away. And then it's going to take you some years to say, well, really, Amir wasn't at fault. It was my girlfriend and me, and I couldn't really tell it to her, so I just gave it to him. It takes a while to recover from those things. And so, if you want to write really, really well, what usually happens is you go through life, and life beats you up. And every time you get beaten up, you have anger issues. And you want to express your anger in an eloquent, mature way, but you're not there yet. You know, it's like, thank you, Amir. It's good to see you. Your bag. Okay. Thank you. You know, it's like you have a father who's an alcoholic. He wants to recover. He wants to quit, but it's just too damn difficult. So he keeps on abusing himself, abusing his environment, abusing his spouse, his kids. It's not that he wants to. He just doesn't have the ability to process experiences well. The point I'm trying to make, Isaiah, is not to disappoint you or anyone in this class. Is to kind of just let you know that whether you pass or fail in this or other classes, there are certain things in life that you need to know. First, you're going to have certain feelings and emotions you won't like. And you would want to understand them, but you won't be able to. And they're going to sit inside you, and they're going to express themselves in all the awful ways. And you're going to be addicted to being a certain way that's just not liked by you or other people. You're just going to be mean. At a certain point, you're going to hate yourself for what you've become. And then you're going to stop. You have an Isaiah who wants to be really, really healthy, or you have an Isaiah who's been sick for about 10 years. This 10 years, Isaiah has a lot of addictions. He thinks a certain way, feels a certain way, expresses himself a certain way. This brand new Isaiah wants something completely different. So the wrestling match is going to begin. It's going to take you some time to be able to nourish and protect this brand new Isaiah. So whenever this Isaiah comes out, this new Isaiah says, stop, think, wait, be patient, don't be stupid. And then hopefully this new Isaiah will win and slowly will mature, blossom. And then at a certain point you say, okay, you know what? I want to sit and write. And it's the first time you're going to write something that's mature, that's seasoned, that's well thought or processed really, really well. If you go to Costco, they have like 4 or 5 different blenders. You can buy a blender for $25. It's not bad. Or you can buy a blender, it's called Vitamix. It's about $500. So what the hell? I might as well just buy the 20. You can buy the 20, and it does a fine job. A Vitamix, $500. When you put something in there, it comes out as sand. It's amazing. It has such a powerful and quiet engine. But it costs you $500. Human beings are very much the same way. And I say this for the following reason. If you understand who and what you are, When you go into a relationship, the first thing you'll tell your companion is, listen, I don't have a dad, I don't have a mom, I don't have a job, I don't have education. I'm a mess, but I like you. And then this person, if they have any intelligence, they say, listen, Isaiah, I love you, but the way you are is not going to work. So I'm going to wait. I'll become a nun for the next 10 years and I'll be waiting for you. You get yourself fixed and knock on my door. If you still like me and if I still like you, we'll get married. And by then, you'll have a master's, you'll have money, you'll have a job, and you'll have a house. We'll be a perfect fit. And what that does is that you don't create expectations you can't meet. You know, if I am completely broken and I want to go out with her and stay with her, the truth is my brokenness is going to mess her up. So, what can you do? Do the best you can with the assignments. You only have until Sunday. Whatever you've missed, turn them in.
I personalize them, I talk about my life, personalize them, and birth them, so you can have more of a sense of who I am. And I don't know what you're really like looking for in terms of.
Okay, let me tell you what I'm looking for. You won't be able to meet that, but let me tell you what I am looking for. And that's one of the injustices in life. Can I make it a little kinky?
Honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be a little kinky. Is that okay? There was a student I had about 25 years ago at some college in Sacramento. One day she knocks on my door and she says, Amir. I said, yes. You know that guy in the class? I said, yeah. I really, really like him. So, oh, okay. Can you somehow set me up with him? I said, yeah, why not? He was from Turkey and she was American. So we set them up. And I don't know if you ever liked someone, like fantasize about them, but you create these stories. I'm going to go to this place with them. We're going to like rent a room and we're going to get some food and we're going to get into bed and we're going to have the best lovemaking session that humanity has ever seen. So they go to Monterey. She comes back to my office on a Monday and she is pissed. What's wrong with you? Why are you so angry? He was done in a minute. What? A minute. And she was angry. She didn't want to talk to him. She had.
You're looking for a long. That's what you're telling me. You're looking for a long 6-page, hard, sensual.
I'm not looking. No. I'm not looking for any of that. What I'm saying is, first, before you can express yourself adequately, you have to have the tools. You know what she does? Let me tell you what Tracy does. Tracy lived a certain kind of life. She enjoyed that life. Was it painful at times? Yeah. Did she have regrets? Yeah. Did she want to exit that life? Yeah. Did she have the ability? No. So she stayed in it. Over and over and over again. Somehow, whether there's a God up there, I don't really know, but somehow she was able to get herself out. Was she depressed? Yeah. Was she lonely? Yeah. Did anyone want to be around her? No. Did she have to suffer? Yeah. Was she in a black hole? Yeah, for a long, long time. It took her a long time for her to understand her past and her present. And you know what she does now? She counsels other people. And she's a really, really good counselor. You know why? She understands herself. And she's able to put herself in other people's shoes. Why? Because they're going through what she went through for 20 years. If you don't have the proper tools, you're unable to express yourself adequately. If, on the other hand, you do have the proper tools, then yes, you can. It's just going to take a while. And one of the things that happens when you have the proper tools is that you will never, ever, ever desire to shortchange yourself. You will not write for a grade. You write because you want to be true to your experiences. So having said all of that, Alexis, anything?
Not quite yet.
Yes. Suzanne? We can wait. Tracy?
No, I was just thinking about the story you shared, there was that saying that the road to resentment is paved with expectations.
Yeah.
We can reach a point of not expecting more than we can give. It's like having a cup that's full or half full, and then all of a sudden you fill it, and then you're filling it so much it starts to overflow and spill everywhere. We have to learn to like keep it where it's full. We're not overextending ourselves or overthink it. Yeah.
Tiffany, anything? Anything? No? She's okay. She just doesn't like people.
Look at Amir College Street Scholars. They're on Facebook. Let's check that out and see what that's all about. Like the COSA program out there. It's manager over the classes. Just good try. Because they come back to and they help. There's a lot of younger students that are transferring out of Peralta and into Cal State Baylor. Through, and Street Scholars is doing an amazing job of helping with that. We haven't been understood. I mean, I'm just saying that the program itself is more, understanding of the struggle. So, not that you're not a phenomenal teacher, because you are.
I'm being honest. I'm being brutally honest. 2 weeks out of the addiction that was hindering me from applying myself to my schoolwork. Wanting to actually write and apply myself and be transparent to these assignments. Now I look at every assignment, and since the first class you've been, I'm like, wow, these are real profound topics. Talk about the prodigal son, this idea that one has to fail, and brothers have to go through this failure and hardship, versus the one who's just obedient and doesn't have any experience with them. And I'm one of 3 brothers. We all have our own internal and external failures. But I'm here in Oakland. My whole family's from New Jersey. I get to spend Thanksgiving and basketball, grades. So before Thanksgiving break, I said, you know what? This numbing agent that I keep using once a day has to stop. Now I'm able to think clearly and be transparent in my assignments, trying to deliver what I think is needed to pass this class. And also pass a new testimony of life, right? That's what I feel like that's going on here. But beat up 2023 was not an easy year. A lot that people in this room don't know about, right? Because very each and every individual. But right now, I'm focused on delivering as much as I can by Sunday, being as transparent and truthful, to be as honest as possible. And I would say I'm on a pretty good start, judging that I've got a sense of food, essence. I don't know how to pronounce your last
I don't know either, it's fine.
I will, that's the part where you tell me how to pronounce it.
It doesn't matter. S is fine.
How do you pronounce it?
It's Sabzavari.
Sabzavari. Not a little. Not to say Sabzavari.
No, no.
Okay? Mr. Sabzavari, I want to deliver, but I'm also, I'm very intrigued by your life experience and a lot of things that happened in this class. Last week, I was kicked out of my basketball house. For a reason I don't even know. Today, I'm allowed to come back to the game. But Wednesday, last week, I was emotional. Missed another day because Mr. Sabbath.
So,
And I want to be able to pass the class. So I'm going to figure out, what I need to do.
good. So, are there any other questions before we wrestle with that stuff? Yeah.
We in a certain stage of our life research of our life. Otherwise, if that's a short term or like a long term one. I personally think like searching for a baby, it's also searching for that's myself, ourselves fulfilled about where we found the meaning or reach certain points. But for like the simple, smallest fulfillment in my daily life, does that also accumulate out to become like a self?
There is a guy on YouTube. His name is Peter Buka. I think he's from Hungary. He plays piano. And you can find a number of people like this, whether they're playing oboe or cello or piano. He's incredible. The way just his body language on the piano is really quite mesmerizing. He has a certain magic to him. And I don't know how he has it, but he has the magic. Some people are just born with a certain magnetism or charisma. And you envy them and you want to be like them, but you can't because that magic is not given to you. And oftentimes I sit back and I don't really pay attention to what he plays or how he plays, but I sit back and say, man, kids by their very nature, they want to like jump up and down the sofa, break plates, break windows, they want to run around and destroy things. But this kid, and to become good at anything, without sacrifice, you can't be good. And talent by itself is not enough. Kobe Bryant was very talented, but he also kind of felt responsible for his talent, where he would wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning and just practice. Or Mike Tyson. All these geniuses, whether they're in football or philosophy or religion, it doesn't really matter. Jesus Christ has a certain talent that other people don't. And so you say to yourself, this kid locks himself up in a room and practices piano for 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 hours a day. And then at the age of like 18 or 19, he puts himself on YouTube. Not only is he expressing his talent, but he's also making money. And he's also making other people interested. And he is like a gift to humanity. And anyone who's good at anything is a gift to humanity because they become a conduit. You look at them and you hear them and you feel as if they're touching a part of you that most often remains absent in life or is overlooked by life. It's like when you fall in love with someone, the way they look at you or the way you look at them kind of does something to you. So there are these major events that happen in life that make who you are and what you are. And there are these minor events that create a certain self, meaning, identity, but they're short-lived. Whenever you have any desire for anything, it doesn't matter what the desire is, that desire has a certain shelf life. If, for example, you're walking the streets and you see someone eating Indian food, let's just say chicken tikka masala, or maybe they're eating a taco or something, all of a sudden you say, I'm hungry, I want to eat something. And that's a self that is born. But once it's satisfied, it disappears. Then you say, I need to go back home and do math. There are certain things or certain events that happen to life that really alter who and what you are in serious ways. Let's say you are 5, you love your parents, but all of a sudden they come to you and they say you're divorcing. Now, children during formative years, 0 to about almost like 10, they really need a good amount of security and safety. They need to know that when they walk into their home or house, that it's going to be a home. There are no mines or dynamites anywhere that are going to explode, And so when that gets disrupted, for the remainder of your life as an adult, you're always going to be a little doubtful if your own relationships are going to survive. And that is because the very trunk of who and what you are had been shattered at such a young age, okay? So again, meaning, identity, relevance, desires, they are either short-lived, and if they're short-lived, you don't have to worry about it, or they have a good amount of longevity, they have a long shelf life. Both Isaiah and Alexis are in this relationship, and each argue that they've been in it for about 4 months, just in case the relationship doesn't work, okay? And let's just say that they're not intensely in love, okay, because that would change the ballgame a little. That they're casual in the relationship, they love, but they're not really, really intensely in love. Just in case the relationship goes bad, they'll be sad, maybe even depressed, maybe angry, but they'll be able to overcome it after like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. If on the other hand, you were in a relationship for about 10 years and you had established 10 years of relatively healthy and joyful stories, just in case something happened to the relationship, then you would be plunged into depression. So you have a good amount of meaning that has been stolen from you, and to recover that, to retrieve that, will take a long time, and it's usually very, very difficult. And people usually go to therapy for that. It takes them like months, if not years, to recover. So in many ways, really, what you pursue in life determines how long that self is going to last and how long that interest is going to last. One of the nice things about people like Peter Buka or Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or Tiger Woods or Magnus Carlsen is that they love one thing, and that's chess, that's boxing, and every other thing just is on the side. They can always go back home. The home is boxing, the home is chess or soccer or basketball. On the other side is the resting area, the exit you take. I want to spend some time with my family. You go there for about 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then you go back into the field. If there is anything that you're serious about, that you're passionate about, that becomes your home. For someone like her home is, she's been through some rough patches in life. She got herself through those rough patches. She's now getting some degrees, and she wants to go back into life, help people who suffer the same way she was suffering. That is her home. And whatever friendships she creates, it's going to be in that particular realm. I want friendships only with people who are interested in these things. If someone is not interested in these things, I'm not interested in them. You know. So the bigger, the more intoxicating your passion, that becomes a really good GPS to your life. Sometimes people have like stupid passions. It's, I don't like Eminem. His music sucks. And I don't like Lil Wayne. His music sucks. And if someone was to tell me, I want to be like Eminem or I like to be like Lil Wayne, I say, yuck. What sort of passion is that to have? All these wonderful people in this world and you want to be like that? You know? Do once in a while they have great social messages? Yeah. You know, all of us are inspired to create something wonderful once in a while. For the most part, what they create is just trash. The way they speak is just trash. And having said all of that, I've forgotten your question, so let's move on. Yeah.
I suppose I have like a question that relates to something maybe said in lecture in the past where there's like the situation that you mentioned was you have a relationship with someone and you've been to your parents, maybe like younger in the situation, and your mom can instantly tell that this type of person isn't right because they've been through that situation. There's a bit of a personal situation that relates to that, but it's basically the same story, where you've been through something and you see someone else going through it, and you try to kind of, not warn them, but try to explain why the situation might not be good for you, out of love and caring, and like the intention is positive. But because they haven't been through it, no amount of like telling them or lecturing them is gonna bring them out of the situation. And so my question was kind of like, even though I know the answer is that, how do you convince someone? Maybe the question I'm trying to ask is like, how does one come to a place where they are able to convince themselves?
Okay. So there's a story that comes from one of the Gospels. I'm not quite sure which, and it's something we talked about, but I think you were in here. It's about a farmer, and farmers by nature, they like to work with the land. They like to plant things, sow things, reap things. So they're very intimate with the earth, and they know their craft really, really well. So unbeknownst to this particular fellow, he has a bag, and as he's walking, seeds, there's a hole in this bag, and seeds begin to fall. Some seeds fall on concrete, some seeds fall on hard ground, some seeds fall on good ground. Okay? Let's say you are the farmer. And farming, first of all, is very, very tough. We're not talking about a time where you have bulldozers or tractors or shovels that we have today. The ground is tough. We're talking about Jesus Christ. We're talking about the Middle East. It doesn't rain very often. The ground is really, really, really hard. Okay? That's the first thing you need to understand. Farmers have one task initially: to get the shovel and till the ground. Break the ground that's hard. That's the only way you can plant things and then watch things grow. There are a couple of things that make human beings tough or hard to till. You have your own experiences. Those experiences create certain habits, addictions. They're very difficult to change. Okay? There's also the element of pride. You think that you know what's going on. You also think that you know all the disasters coming your way. You also assume that you have the toolbox Just in case life goes bad, you can open your toolbox and fix them. This is the assumption that all of us have. Okay? You sign up for a class. And when you sign up for a class, it's a contract that you kind of create for yourself, with yourself. I'm going to go there, I'm going to sit, I'm going to listen, I'm going to take notes, I'm going to do the assignments, and I'll get a C or a B or an A and I'll leave. Okay? But you have no idea what's coming to you, and you have no idea what the demands are. You have no idea what things you have to sacrifice to get an A or a B or a C. All you have are a set of assumptions, that's all. Now, if you happen to be a young farmer, you have lots of dreams when you're young. When you go out with someone who drinks too much, you say, I have the energy to fix him. And I can. We'll go to church every day, instead of drinking this, we'll drink Coke or water. We'll go exercise every day. We'll walk around the lake every day, all that. What you realize is you have the capacity to give, and your seed is the seed of generosity, the seed of forgiveness, the seed of compassion. But what you don't really know is that you're planting these seeds, or at least trying to, in a ground that's hard. Nothing is going to penetrate. Nothing is going to be received. Okay? So, that's the flaw of all young people. And remember, this flaw is actually a gift, because you go in there with lots of hopes and dreams. When you become a seasoned farmer, someone comes to you and says, you have a plot of land, free estimate, I can come take a look and give you a price. That person, because they're seasoned, because they're experienced, they come to you. They look at you, they ask you some questions, and they say, listen, I really like you. I think there's a chance that you can recover from A, B, C, D. But right now, I don't think you are. In as much as you say you are, I don't think you really are. And when you're seasoned, you know that. So just because someone asks for help, it doesn't mean that they have the ability to receive help. Now, that's number one. Number two is this. Let's say you have found a ground to be really, really tough, hard. Okay, you love this guy. Grab your shovel, grab your axe, and till the ground, break it. Now that the earth has smoothed or loosened for you, put some water in there, put some good soil in there, plant the seed. What do you need? You need to water it. Water symbolizes what? Well, if you want that seed, if you want that generosity that you want to give your boyfriend to sprout, you got to spend a lot of time with him. But here's the thing you need to know about people who have certain habits. They're in the business of abusing you, taking advantage of your generosity, of your forgiveness, of your compassion, of your time, of your energy. You keep giving, they keep receiving, and then they crap on everything you've given. So if you want to give to someone, make sure that you're willing to take the abuse, because that's the only thing they're able to give you. And that's what children do to their parents all the time. I mean, if you pay close attention to the way children and parents function, parents raise the kids with the blood of their heart and the tears of their eyes. The kids eventually give the parents the bird. By doing all the ridiculous, stupid things, they walk away. It takes the kid 30, 40, 50 years until they themselves become parents. And then this kid, who was a creep and has been a creep for about 40 years, eventually calls his mom or calls his dad and says, Mom, Dad, you're right. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do to make up for all the wrong things I've done for the past century to you guys? Okay? So that's the first thing you need to understand. If you want to parent anyone, and that's what a farmer is a parent. If you have found a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's got issues, you are taking care of them. You're babysitting them. And if you've ever done babysitting for anyone, what do kids do? They throw up, they shit, all over the place. And what do you do as a babysitter? You clean up after them. Is there any reward? Yeah, 5 seconds of them giggling. That's it. Okay? Now, the only way you can protect whatever gift you want to plant in your boyfriend, you have to protect it day and night. Why? Because now that you had a land that was hard and now it's loosened and there's a seed in there, the thing you need to understand is about the vultures, the birds. Life is busy. People are lazy. Working on anything that needs working on takes time, takes energy, takes sacrifice. People don't want to make work. People don't want to work for anything, but they want to receive. There was a movie, Four Brothers. The guy says something really interesting about prostitution. The reason why you pay for sex is that so she can leave when it's done. Because in a regular relationship, when you have sex with someone, it takes work to stay in the relationship. It takes work. Compromise takes work. Understanding takes work. Forgiveness takes work. And this is not something that anyone is willing to do. If you plant a seed, you have done 1/3 of the work. The 2/3 is now your boyfriend. But your boyfriend is not in the business of making sacrifices. You are, but not him. Because he can always go back to the crummy life he's always had. You want something different for yourself and something different for him. But he doesn't yet see it. Then your boyfriend has other distractions. He's got friends. Take a look at his cell phone, all the contacts. Every friend that he has is like Pinocchio's friend. They're going to lead him to a place that will not be beneficial to your relationship. His friends will destroy whatever you have planted. Your boyfriend has imaginations. Those imaginations, because they go against the things you've planted, they also will mess up the relationship. You have so many things going against you. It takes a miracle for your boyfriend to begin to see what you have planted, appreciate what you have planted, and then help you in protecting what you have planted. And you're going to be constantly disappointed. Constantly. Because very much like children who don't know how parents make money and how hard it is to make money, all kids know is how to spend it. Not how to make it, just to spend it. Okay? So, about 80% of the people who walk into your life, they're like hard ground. They talk a lot. They ask for a lot of help. But the truth is, they don't really want it. They just want a quick and easy way out of whatever mess they've created for themselves. That's the first thing you need to understand. People don't want to work hard for anything. And there is nothing wrong with that. Okay? Second, even if you work really, really hard in making your boyfriend understand a few things, that's the seed that you planted, the seed of understanding. You have a lot of distractions. You have a lot of distractions. And your boyfriend is going to fall victim to all of that. And there isn't much you can do, except to be disappointed. If, on the other hand, you find someone with loose ground, a ground that's good now, and you plant the seed, and you're able to have an irrigation system going on, pull out the weeds every other day, then there's a good chance that out of everything you have planted in the relationship, you can see something good grow, but it takes time. As it has taken you time to begin to slowly appreciate what it means to be healthy, okay, it's very much like in relationships. It's going to be sick for a long, long time, and then you're going to inject things that will make the relationship healthy. And when you're, to some extent, relatively speaking, healthy enough, then you look back and you say, you know what? I don't want to be sick again. But that's after you understand what it means to be sick, what it means to be healthy. You compare, you contrast. Okay? So there are lots of things to consider. When you're young, as I said, any person is an option. When you get a little older, you go out with them on a date. You ask them very, very pointed questions. Like, so you went to school, right? And you ask it jokingly, because you don't want to like frighten him. Says, nah, I never really went to school. That's a red flag. So where do you live? I live in Oakland. Where do you live? You know. Now he thinks you're just making small talk, but this is no small talk for you. You know, this is well, I live like in a somewhere. Well, is it like a big house? You live in a mansion? He says, no, I live in a studio. Oh, so this guy doesn't really make very much money. You know. So what do you do? Now these are not questions you ask when you're 18 or 20. You just ask when you're young, you ask stupid questions. You're looking for stupid things. You know. So long story short, I guess, there is someone who gives. There is someone who receives. Most often, the person who receives is not ready to receive. They just receive because there is a feel-good to it. There is a moment of inspiration. There is this idea that if I am able to receive this 10 years from now, I'll be ABCD, I'll be a completely different person. So they're guided by a lot of fantasies, right? And so that's not going to live for too long, those seeds that you planted. Once you become seasoned, like her, out of 10 people who come to you seeking help, you invest only in one. Oftentimes, you won't even invest in them. You say, you know what? I'd rather just play with the ideas in my head. I've been here before. I know how this stuff works. I don't want to help this person. It's too bad that they're suffering. And by this time, something really interesting will happen to you. Your sense of empathy, like your mom loves you, but she has no problem telling you that you suck as a human being. That there's a part of her that is really concerned about your future, and she doesn't care for your feelings. She wants to protect the good that she sees in you, and she doesn't want that to be destroyed. So she is hard on you, and she likes being hard on you because it's good for you, even though you won't see it. If you're talking about romantic relationship, my only recommendation, I'm talking as an old man here, okay? Are you young? Yes. Are you sometimes wanting certain pleasures in life? Absolutely. Go in life. Have fun. You want to have sex? Go have sex. Just be protected. You want to drink once in a while? Just drink once in a while. Don't get drunk. You want to smoke? Smoke, once a month. Without becoming addicted to any of them. Once you've had those pleasures, you're young, stay in school. Regardless of how sucky school is, stay in school. In 5 or 6 years' time, you'll be done with the whole goddamn thing. And how old will you be? 25, 26, 27, 30. And then you can go back into life. And when you go back to life at the age of 30, you have so much power under your belt. You're educated, you have a job that you like, hopefully you've chosen a major that you're passionate about, you have money, you know how to think well, you know how to speak well. And the problem with being educated is you won't find very many men who are going to make you happy. Whenever people tell me they have lots of friends, I know they're just not very educated. Educated people don't have very many friends. They have 2, maybe 3. So, am I suggesting that those of you in this class who have boyfriends, dump them, or girlfriends? Yeah. But because women stand to lose more, I suppose I would direct my comment only towards women. If you have a boyfriend, dump them. They're no good. Especially if the guy is under the age of 35, 36. They're definitely no good. They're creeps, all of them. That just leaves me and you. Since I'm over 60, my comment doesn't really apply to me. I'm just kidding. What? No. You just need time, that's all. Yeah. Is there a follow-up?
Sure. I guess a bit of the perspective or the background that was motivated by my question was I'm the oldest of three, and it's kind of looking at the situation from my youngest
You have
sister.
two sisters?
I have a the youngest is my sister, and then one younger, which is my brother. So it's watching a difficult situation for the youngest.
You should always do the things you want to do behind closed doors. Make sure your young sister doesn't see it.
We just to see them.
Say again?
But I guess with anybody that you feel close to, your family, you don't want them you don't want to see suffering happen. So
Yeah, just go home and you don't have a boyfriend. Don't ever bring your boyfriend home. Don't ever have your mom talk about your boyfriend or speak about your boyfriend in front of your little sister. Because what?
it's not mine.
I know, it doesn't really matter.
No,
What?
I understand.
Yeah, fine. The thing is, culture is different. Parenting style is different. What parents expect and what they're comfortable or uncomfortable with, it's different for every family. All I can tell you is, as a young man, when my parents came here, I remember once I took a girl home. Once. And I was like 18 or 19. And I remember my mom came to me and she swung at me. She said, we came from Iran. Your sister is 10. You think I can control her if she begins to act like you? This is America. It's not Iran. It's a shitty culture. Once you bringing people home becomes okay for us, she's going to assume that it's okay for her to bring people home too. And that's not something I want to deal with. So that was stopped. And she never dated. She never spoke to guys. She went to UOP, got her degree. 10 minutes later, she got married. 20 minutes later, she had 4 kids. An hour later, she regretted the whole thing. So, look, everything about us is a piece of advertisement. The way you dress, the way you talk, your body language, how you're in the classroom. Look, the way you're in the classroom, it's a piece of advertisement. It can either make me interested in you or it can make me lose interest in you. That's the sort of animals that we are. So if you want to protect a certain environment, if you want to, whether it's your psychological environment or physical environment, you need to be aware very much of the sort of things that you're bringing into your life and the sort of images that you're bringing up in your psyche. If that's a little difficult to grasp, forgive me for making it this, but I don't have this is just the way my mind works because I'm somewhat casual and comfortable with these things. Next time you want to give yourselves pleasure, and there is nothing wrong with that. Masturbation is okay. While you want to give yourself pleasure, have the Bible next to you. And what you realize is that, well, if you want this pleasure to survive and to continue, you need to focus on certain images. But the Bible is right there. Bible creates a different set of images. And the Bible images tells you that the kingdom of God lives inside you. That it's nasty to just be flesh and zero spirit. And all of a sudden you realize there's a conflict now. Even though you want this particular set of images or pieces of advertisement are not letting you be at peace. Okay. So just in case you see any wrinkles in your life, physical, emotional, intellectual, doesn't really matter. All you need to do is, first of all, figure out what sort of images live in those lives. And then see if you can go somewhere, find certain pieces of advertisement that are as powerful, so that they can combat the images that you don't want around. Okay? If, for example, you've come to realize that your father comes home and he just drinks and no one has power over him, and his head is like that hard ground, it's not tilled yet, and he doesn't listen to anyone, and if that bothers you, every Tuesday when your father comes home, save some money. Every Tuesday, take your brother, your sister, your mom out to Zachary's. Stay there. And after Zachary's, go to a coffee shop. You know why? Because by the time you get home, you know that your father is passed out on the sofa. He can't bother anyone. That's the advertisement you create. You can't change your father, but you can change your physical space. And once you change your physical space, you also will impact the way you perceive things, feel things. The only thing that is required of you is to pay close attention to the things around you. What things you like, what things you don't like. The things you like may not be good for you. The things you don't like may in fact be very good for you. Find a counselor, someone who've been there, who've done that, are a bit more seasoned, a bit more experienced than you are. If you're lonely and you want to look for a guy to date, the first thing you should do is have your mom take a look at him. Your mom is like an MRI machine. Puts him under this tunnel and examines head to toe, and then eventually your mom says, honey, I love you, this guy sucks. Get him out. Same about mom. He's got great sort of eyes or something. Who gives a shit about those things? So, yeah. Oscar Wilde, anyways, so yeah. Alexis, anything? You sure? You're like a boxer. All right, let me stretch out. I should tell you that she has a black belt in martial. I shouldn't have said that. I only say that just in case anyone of you offends me. She'll probably beat you up. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sometimes you create something and you can receive clearly and you create that. And over time, maybe you come back to it. And it felt very ugly when you did it, but you did it later. You realize that having some perspective, you see something in it and you can see it. Why is it that when we find these very honest portrayals of ourselves so ugly, and get some perspective from them, or we see others with
Can you say that again?
sometimes when you first express yourself, if you feel like the expression is so insufficient.
Okay.
But then revisiting the writing, maybe past, you see a bit more value than you did when you first read it.
Okay.
Why do we find books and honest portrayals of our emotions so unattractive or ugly? Even if they have just writing much better.
I can't claim to understand everything you said or the intention behind the things that you've said. I've only understood maybe 5%, but let me just speak of the 5% that I understand, and I'm not going to respond to your question adequately, but nevertheless. Yeah, I know. If you are having a lot of intense emotions, first of all, language is not equipped to be a good container for that. There comes a point it's not enough to look at someone and say, I love you. And she understands what you're saying, and you understand what you're saying. It's just not enough. At a certain point, what happens is you begin to undress, and you guys begin to have these wonderful moments of intimacy. And it seems language falls apart, and now you are using the language of sex or the language of lovemaking, if you want to call it that, to spice it up a little, to sound more civilized. You can use the language of sex to kind of express how you really feel about the other person. Flowers won't do, poetry won't do. They have their moments, don't get me wrong. Holding hands and sitting and watching the sunset, all of these are good. But at a certain point, there's a breaking point where there is so much about you that has created so much psychic tension that you're about to explode. You know, initially, the explosion is relatively mild and holding hands is sufficient. But the greed just explodes more emotions inside you, and the holding hands morphs into kissing, and the kissing turns into like having sex, and then you will find your Garden of Eden. That's your resting place, that's your Sabbath, where you lay in bed and there is nothing to talk about, there is nothing to be said, there is nothing to do, you just lay in bed. You call your boss and says, I quit, you order a round table like for the next 2 weeks, and you guys don't shower, you don't brush your teeth, you don't do anything, you're just in bed. Everything is fulfilled, it's complete, it's perfect, it's complete. So that's the first thing about emotions and language. Second, I know that you'll be married soon, and I know soon thereafter you and your companion will try to have children. One of the nice things about modern technology is that you're going to sit and you're going to video your kids, all the stupid things that they do. And they create a good amount of giggles, you know, for you and your companion, your family and all that. But you'll do something ridiculous. You'll video them shitting. You'll video them puking. You'll video them like wiping their ass. You'll video all sorts of ridiculous things. And they're filthy and they're nasty. And then your daughter will turn like 15 or 16 or 20. You know, she goes to college in Nebraska, and then she comes home for the Christmas break. And the two of you are sitting. And you say, you know, I have some things to show you. And then the both of you sit, and your daughter, who has never seen the footage, you're sitting and she's having like coffee or ice cream, and you turn on your phone, this video, and she sees this tiny little kid on the potty, shitting away. And she says, what the hell is this, Mom? Honey, you know, that's you. And it's filth. But there is something so majestic, so profound, so beautiful, so divine, so spiritual, if you want to call it that, about sitting and watching this together. You know, it takes, I think, a certain type of maturity to look at your life, a life that has been lived in kind of distasteful ways. For the longest time in my teaching career, I never told people about washing cars, about working graveyard at gas stations, being janitor, being a dishwasher, or Church's Fried Chicken, and all these jobs I got fired from because I would steal things. And it would, have an impact on me, on my self-image. Other people will call me thief, will call me this, will call me that. But now I can talk about them because I understand what it means to be a kid. I understand what it means to be poor. I understand what it means not to have any money. I understand what it means to be just a confused 18-year-old punk who doesn't think well about anything. And it actually makes me feel good when I'm able to talk about those awful years of my life that tormented me for many, many decades. But now I look back and I say, wow, that becomes a source of inspiration. It's no fun, talking about a life that has been consumed by drugs and alcohol, where these two elements have robbed you of your health, of the time you could have spent with your kids, with your husband, with your family members, but because of your addiction, you were like a repellent. Everybody just walked away from you because you were disgusting, And that torments you when you're on your way to recovery because you want some help, but no one wants to be around you. You feel as filth and you want to die. You literally just want to end your life because it's devastating. And time passes, some magical people walk into your life and they give you a helping hand. And lo and behold, you happen to be one of those people who, succeed in recovery. And the only way you can help other people is to be open about your own life. And for some strange reason, for the first time you realize a life you try to hid in the closet to make sure no one knows. Now you actually bring it out for all to see. And you say, that was who I was, and this is who I am. And it's day and night, apples and oranges. And you're very proud of that transformation. It's like a centipede that turns out to be a butterfly. You're walking with 100 stupid legs, and you're worthless, really. And all of a sudden, you're way up there like the gods or angels. You look down and you see filth down here. Once in a while, you come down to kind of grace the vision of human beings, and then you say, this is not the place I want to be. So you go back to the gods. But Mr. Isaiah, it's good to see you. Good luck with everything. You take care. Take care, man. It's good to see you. So, there's that. Maria, anything? Before we go home? It's the last day. I'm sorry? Say again? Okay, all right. Anything else before we? Yeah? No? So.
Suffering and pain, it really does suck. But if you're able, whether it be 10 years, 2 years, 20 years down the road, to see some beauty within that, so that's great. And that's what God is saying. So harness your faculties